Well, hello, everyone. So first, can we give it up for Charlie Richards on the piano today? Charlie, longtime friend of the family. His lovely wife, Rosie, cut my hair when I was a little kid. And their son, Tim, and I ran all over this church and created all kinds of havoc. Just like John and Janet's son, James, who was the best man at my wedding. And he was the best man, and I was the best man in his wedding, and he's here this morning. And John and Janet, I love you so much. And I was talking to Becky Bell before the service started about all the songs that she taught me when I was a kid to sing. And how many times over the course of my life those songs met me in dark moments and lonely moments. And they provided answers to life's most perplexing problems. And Janet, I love you for that. And Becky. And so, get out your Kleenex, everybody, because we're going in. I want to start my remarks today by welcoming you and thanking you all for being with us to celebrate the life of my dad, Chuck Flowers. Many of you traveled great distance to be here, and I want to send a special thanks to you. Dad's brothers, my uncles Jim and Ken and Dick. Would you throw us a wave, gentlemen? These are my dad's brothers, beautiful, beautiful men. Mom's brother, my Uncle Stanley up here, traveled to be with here, and of course our beloved Aunt Kay. I want to thank my fabulous co-workers who drove all the way from Akron, Ohio to be here today. We love you and we appreciate you so much. And of course to my darling wife, Holly, and Andy, and John and Mary. It means the world to me to share this day with you and to share this life with you. I also want to offer words of thanks to the good people of Grace Hospice who took such good care of Dad over these past few difficult weeks. I would be remiss if I didn't publicly thank my brother Dave and his wife Christy for rearranging their schedules, taking days off work and sleeping at Mom and Dad's house, and missing a lot of that sleep in service to Dad. You more than met this moment, Dave and Christy. I also want you all to know that Nina Flowers, Chuck Flowers' wife of 55 years, was absolutely splendid over these last weeks. Mom exhibited outstanding judgment and decisiveness and courage as she directed Dad's care in the hardest moments of her life. And I love you so much, Mom. You did really good. In the weeks since Easter, Dad's health took a significant turn. And after a series of doctor visits, our worst fears were confirmed, and we braced ourselves for what was to come. And it wasn't long before Dad lost interest in food and the course was set. I want you all to know that as his body declined, his spirit rallied and a sweetness came over him that was amazing, although not unfamiliar, as Dad has always been a sweetheart. But his gentleness and smile and joy in his family, and his absolute lack of fear or complaint was astounding to all of us. Although he suffered as much as any man can suffer in the end. I just can't imagine anyone ever facing it with more grace and more courage. Dad died well, and Dad lived well. And that's why we're all here, because he touched all of our lives. And if you knew Dad, If you were even remotely in his circle, I want you to know that he loved you. He really, really loved you. The other day, I was cleaning out one of his closets, and I found a pile of journals. Because every morning, if you got up early enough, you would find him out there in the family room. Honestly, most of the time sitting in his underwear. Reading his Bible with a cup of coffee. And writing out prayers in his journal. And he left stacks of these, pages and pages and pages, chronicling his prayers for guidance and peace and closeness with God. Prayers for each of you. And always prayers for his family. Oftentimes he would emerge from his devotions and email friends and family telling us he'd already prayed for us and wishing us a good day. And I knew it was true. And I think, what a great dad. I love that guy. And perhaps the best thing that we can do is believe that we have a closer advocate in heaven now that he's there. I could go on for days about Dad. The way he focused so completely on the person he was talking to. Dad loved asking people questions, and he wanted you to know that he was listening to you. And that's why he would constantly be saying, right, sure, when you were talking. And he knew he was doing that, and he confessed to me once that he'd actually tried to stop so he could listen more. But I think those of us who loved him wouldn't have had it the other way. He loved asking questions, and he was a master at it. And I can recall so many times standing off in the background watching him work a room at a church function, slapping backs and shaking hands and making jokes. And I was so proud of him. I remember standing out on the playground at Gates when I was a third grader and seeing him push kids on the swing and challenging them to foot races and playing dodgeball with his class, the big kids. We go on school skates, and Dad would skate backwards. And he'd weave in and out of the crowd wearing a polyester leisure suit and a silk shirt. And there was always a chain of kids holding hands and giving him hugs. And I would just think, my God, my dad is so amazing. I can't believe he's mine. And a part of me knew even then that he wasn't just mine. And he was yours too. He loved us all. He shined a light on us all. I could go on for days. And I'm sure the memories of Dad will bless me and bring me to tears for the rest of my life. I'm sure I'll think of many things I should have said today. Things that Dad deserves to have said. But I will close with this. The example of Dad's life as I see it is one of consistent effort bearing fruit. Dad had his struggles, like we all do. He had his insecurities, he had his regrets, his loneliness. Dad had his pain. And he made no attempt to appear as if he didn't. Dad was constantly redirecting. When he thought he was wrong, he'd apologize, sometimes over and over again. He followed the rules. He never drank a single drink of alcohol or smoked a single cigarette in his whole life. He was faithful to his job. He was faithful to this church and to Dave's church. He was faithful to his commitments, to his wife, and to all of us, no matter how hard it was. He constantly served other people. Most of all, he constantly loved other people, and those things aren't easy. In the pages of those journals I mentioned earlier, his secret recipe is revealed. Dad worked at it. He worked at it. He surrendered his life to God at an early age and lived every day in pursuit, however elusive, of the love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control, and love described in The Music Machine Janet Vaness directed in 1980, and in the Bible Dad read every single morning. And so it is for you, and so it is for me, to see beyond the strong feelings that we have about Dad and the pain and overwhelming loss we are feeling, and observe that he also left clues behind as to how we can live our life in ways to lead to a celebration like this for us too. And so thank you, Dad, for your example from beginning to end. You wrote a lovely story, a complete work. And my heart to you, Dad, our hearts to you, love always. And I will look for you on the banks of the river, just as you said you will look for me. And so until then, rest in peace, my sweet, sweet Dad.